Look at the cobwebs, right? This is terrible. This is disgusting. All the dirt and dust. This thing was looking so pretty. Very neglected car, but this is the next one to go to the shop. We're going to bring this thing over there, get the quarter panel squared away. Actually, the frame rail is kinked on it, so I've got to cut it, box it, do all kinds of things. I know, put it on a frame straightener. It's not that simple. So this is the next one we got to get ready, and talking about two channels, two friends of mine, right? So the first is DD Speed Shop. I told them, they were here a couple of weeks ago. They ran Power Tour with the 57 Chevy. And I told them next year, just fly down and I'll give you a car to run Power Tour with. So this is going to be for them for Power Tour for next year. But yeah, this is next. And then the other channel, my other friend, Andy from Unity Motorsports Garage. So I just literally got done a few minutes ago watching his video. And you guys are you familiar with the Mixed Up Boss? That's well, go watch his videos on the Mixed Up Boss. That's the motor that's going in the Casper. That's the one I'm supposed to race at the No Name Nationals. So in this video he just did today, they were dyno testing the motor, and they had run through all of the obvious things. They had run through all of the tuning, right, carb spacers and all of that. So once they had baselined it, okay, this is as far as we're going to get with conventional tuning, they went the next step, and they did a test, regular engine oil versus synthetic oil, and they got some amazing results. I mean, really surprising results, and the only difference was just changing the oil. So, and I'm not gonna give it away, right? You'll have to go watch his video to find out what the actual numbers were. And Uncle Kathy will put a link to it wherever she puts the link. Here, she puts the link here. But that switch to conventional, from conventional to synthetic oil, is something that a lot of people ask me about, especially like on the lives. It comes up like probably every time we do like our Wednesday night tech talks, somebody asks about using synthetic oil in an older car. And this is a topic that I have never ever seen anybody cover. So this is like a first. Synthetic oil has many benefits, and it can be used in an older car, but you have to be aware of the same properties that make synthetic work so well as a lubricant make them very difficult to deal with in an older car, in an engine that wasn't designed for synthetic oil. So here's the deal with it, okay? And I have to talk in broad generalities because this is a broad topic, but trust me, this pretty much covers everything that you're going to have your hands on if you deal with classic cars. The first thing you need to know about synthetic oils is that they are such a good lubricant that they will inhibit the break-in with older cast rings. Okay, so if your engine, if you've got an older engine and it was rebuilt using a conventional cast ring as it was originally designed to be used, the synthetic oil lubricates so well that it'll inhibit the break-in process, and the rings will not properly seat to the cylinder bores. So if you plan on using synthetic in your engine, keep this in mind. If it's got a cast ring, a stock type of ring with a stock type of, with original style like bore finish, a rough bore finish, the synthetic oil will not allow the rings to seat correctly. Now once the break-in is done, you can switch to a synthetic. But first it has to go through that break-in process. Seat the rings. The other issue is gaskets. Okay, these older engines were designed to be used with mostly cork gaskets. Valve cover gaskets, oil pan gaskets, front cover gaskets, all these different gaskets through the engine are made of cork. It was the common material to use back then. Some rubber, but mostly were cork. The problem with synthetic oils is that they will they'll force a leak where you don't normally have a leak. So you can have a brand new gasket on there and everything can be just perfect and they're tightened down just right. But because the cork will absorb that oil, it'll eventually start to sweat out. So especially if your engine starts to get hot and you're running it for some miles, it's got a little crankcase pressure behind it, it will push oil through the cork gaskets, and you won't get a drip, but what you're going to get is a fine mist. Everything under the hood is going to be just coated with oil. I know because I've had this happen. If you're going to try to run a synthetic oil in an older engine, you want to go through it and replace all of the cork gaskets with a rubber. Sometimes that's easier said than done. I mean, valve covers are no big deal, but if you've got a cork oil pan gasket, if you want the benefits of synthetic oil, and there are distinct benefits, you're going to end up with an oily oil pan. The underneath of your car is not going to rust. Think of it that way. It's a rust preventative. So cork gaskets, bad with synthetic oil. And then the last thing is the rear main seal. Right? So almost all engines built, I can't think of any exceptions, all of them have a lip style front seal. But a lot of engines built up until the very early 1970s had rope seals for the rear main seal. And a rope seal will not hold synthetic oil, right? That will drip, right? If you're going to switch to a synthetic, either you have to replace the rope rear main seal with a rubber lip seal like this, or live with a leak. The lip seals are direct replacements, and like I said, it's just about every engine built from the early 1970s, I want to say like 72, 73, 74, all have rubber lip seals, so you shouldn't have any problem there. And of course, rebuild kits. All of those engines that originally came with rope seals, if they're being rebuilt using modern rebuild sets, they're not coming with rope seals anyway. They'll come with a lip seal that'll replace it, so that won't be a problem. So those are the issues when you're dealing with synthetic over conventional oil. Is it worth the expense? Because synthetic oil isn't exactly cheap. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing too. You still need zinc. Synthetic oil does not take the place of zinc. There are no additives in synthetic oil that take the place of zinc. So if you've got a flat tappet camshaft that needs that zinc oil, you still have to add a zinc additive to the synthetic oil to keep yourself from wiping out a camshaft. So that's it. I tell you, I think it's worth it. I've tried it back to back on a couple of different engines. I did notice a seat of the pants difference, but nothing quantifiable. Like I never did dyno pulls with it, or never did back-to-back drag pulls, to see a difference. But yes, I have noticed a seat of the pants difference in them. So, but that's it. That's all you need to do. Synthetic versus conventional oil in an older engine. And go watch Andy's channel. Go subscribe and ring the bell and do a lot of other stuff. Andy's a great guy, loaded with information. And of course David Vizard. He's like David Vizard's protege. So you're talking about a real brain trust over here. I'm really, really good guys. So that's it. That charger is so neglected. If you want to see that thing in action, you can go back. We did a video called literally one of the first videos we ever did on this channel was called "How to Do a Bitchin' Burnout," and we used that car. Real quick, let's just take. Let me. We've used it a few times, but a lot of you newer guys haven't seen this thing. Just it's a motorhome 440, actually built by Uncle Kathy. It's 30 over. It's got an old school crane fireball cam, right? It's got ported 906s. It's got a ported stock intake manifold on it. Mallory dual point distributor. It actually runs really, really strong. I mean, like this engine will surprise you. It's got an 800 CFM Edelbrock on it. This may or may not end up with a 6-pack at some point. I don't know. It's really, it's primo the way it is, but I don't know. I think I'd kind of like to have multiple carbs in there. The interior is a little roachy, but not too bad. I mean, it's about, it's about par for the course, right? It's nothing to brag about, but it's all there, And yes, it's a 66, it's a 67, and it has a 66 console, the full-length console. And this is the damage on the car. So this is a rust-free car. I mean, this thing is solid all the way around. But the problem was it took a bumper hit right here, like direct on the frame rail, and direct on the bumper to the frame, and it kinked the frame rail right exactly here. So we've got to straighten this out. And it's a job, but other than that, like I said, the body on this car is it's primo. So we'll have some fun with this. Danny and Danny are going to have some fun with this. All right, guys, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow.